Scientist Stanislav Kirillov wanted to explore the world, but under the Soviet rule, he couldn't leave the country, so he was forced to risk it all. December 13th, 1974. The Sovietsky Soyuz cruise liner is sailing in the waters of the Pacific Ocean. On board are Soviet tourists having fun, drinking, and generally having a wonderful time. A lone man holding a towel quietly walks along the deck towards the stern, where he pulls out a bag with flippers, a snorkeling mask, and a breathing tube from under his towel. He puts on the equipment and jumps overboard. The man's name is Stanislav Kirillov. He's a Soviet oceanographer, yoga practitioner, and future traitor to the motherland. His jump wasn't a suicide attempt or a drunken prank. He was just desperate to flee his native country. The road to the ocean. By Soviet standards, Kirillov was an unusual person. From his youth, he practiced yoga, slept on nails, went on 40-day starvation diets, and meditated. He also had an impressive career. He worked as a psychologist, ocean navigator, diver, and aquanaut. As a scientist, he worked at the Chernomor Underwater Laboratory, where he spent several months at a depth of 14 meters. Kirillov was in love with the sea, was saddened by one thing: the impossibility of working abroad with the world's leading oceanographers. We had an agreement with Jacques Cousteau to do research in Tunisia, but the project fell through. An expedition to the atolls of the Pacific Ocean also came to nothing. For a whole year, I was preparing for the diving mission, but once again, they refused me a visa, saying that a visit to capitalist countries was not appropriate. He wrote in his diaries, which later published in the book, Alone at Sea. The reason for the refusal was the fact that he had a relative abroad. Kirillov's sister had married and immigrated to Canada. The USSR considered people who had relatives abroad untrustworthy and didn't allow them to travel outside the country. A step into the unknown. In the end, Kirillov decided to escape the USSR. An opportunity came along in 1974 when he read an advert about a cruise billed as From Winter into Summer. The Sovietsky Soyuz ocean liner was set off on a 20-day journey from Vladivostok to the equator and back without calling at foreign ports. Kirillov climbed aboard together with the tourists. Behind the door of each cabin, there was music, drunken cries, laughter. The tourists were living it up every day of their precious vacation, Kirillov wrote in his diaries. For the sake of keeping up appearances, he took part in the general get-togethers, but in actual fact, he spent more time peering into the ocean, watching the stars, and studying the ship. He realized that he would be able to jump only from the stern of the main deck, ending up right under the propeller. Furthermore, he only had an approximate idea of the direction he needed to swim in. The ocean liner was heading south past Taiwan and the Philippines. I asked God for good luck and stepped into the unknown, Kirillov wrote. When I surfaced, I was horrified. Next to me was the huge hull of the liner and its giant rotating propeller. Between life and death. An excellent swimmer, Kirillov didn't end up under the propeller, but it was only the beginning of his ordeal. The first night he swam using the lights of the disappearing liner. Then, cursing himself for not having taken a compass, he was guided by the stars at night, straying off course during the day. Kirillov swam for hours without stopping. Below lay the boundless ocean which the scientists loved so much. The ocean breathed like a living, dear, and kind being. I had only to incline my head to the water, and a fantastic phosphorescent world would open up before my eyes. Admittedly, later he experienced different feelings. My sunburned face, neck, and chest were very painful. I had a fever and felt more and more sleepy. At times I lost consciousness for long periods. On the second day, he finally saw the shore, but the strong current pushed him back, and it seemed there was no longer any chance of surviving. Salvation. It was only on the third day after the jump, when Kirilov was almost unconscious, that a huge wave threw him ashore on the small Philippine island of Surigao. After the locals found the oceanographer, the news about his escape quickly reached international media. Following an investigation by the Philippines authorities, the fugitive was deported to Canada, where he was granted Canadian citizenship. Thank you guys for watching. If you like these stories, feel free to share them with your friends and comment below. Oh, almost forgot. Subscribe to our channel to see more exciting videos.